various forms of fundamentalism, which again, in and of themselves,
Right.
but I think the challenge is what makes fascism a problem. I have this paper that I wrote, like a monograph on the law of requisite variety, which is the William Ross Ashby's idea that the most successful system has the amount of variety, requisite variety, the variability to match the amount of change and possible scenarios that are in its environment. So the thing is, if I only have one way to do something and that way gets blocked, I'm stuck. If I have five ways, I have plan B, plan C, and I can switch. And this was the whole idea of being able to be flexible. And I do think that this is also important when I'm coaching somebody. It sounds like an abstract rule, but it's very pragmatically meaningful. Like somebody comes up, they have a very different map of situation than me, or they hit into some very difficult point. What's important for me is being able to then say, all right, I need to expand my number of choices, the type of words that I might be able to use, my vocabulary, my nonverbal communication. It's often a great opportunity to learn and expand in some way. In the old days, Grinda used to say, there's no unfixable clients, there's only inflexible coaches. You know,
Mhm.
meaning if I
Right.
had the flexibility, I would be able to find some way. And people like Milton Erickson demonstrate that kind of flexibility, the ability to just
Wow.
shift and follow the client wherever they're going, and then still guide them back to a place where they have more possibilities, more choice, or more in harmony in some way. By the way, these terms we're using, fundamentalism, fascism, they creep into many different things. There are places where we are our own inner fundamentalists, like it's
Yes.
got to be this way or this is the right way. Coming back to this notion of identity, where sometimes people have flexibility on a behavior level, but there's a fair amount of rigidity on an identity level. I could do that, but I won't do that because it doesn't fit with my perception of who I am, which then, as we said, that determines which slices of this pyramid you're going to have access to. We all will say there's a lot of things we could do that are also harmful. I won't do those things because they don't fit my values, my sense of who I am. In other words, it's not a bad thing. It's the whole notion there is it gives us some kind of guardrails. But once again, if those become too rigid, and especially preventing us from doing things that could be helpful for ourselves and others, that's where it starts to become a limitation.